Question. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita it says that the jiva soul, when in the spiritual world, is perfect, but when in the material world is fallible. Therefore, my question is, how can the infallible spirit soul change his perfect nature, thereby falling into this material world? Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. There is the spiritual world and the material world, but in between them is the middle section, the abscissa. Jiva Shakti is the middle potency of the Lord. There is Maya Shakti, Jiva Shakti, and Sarup Shakti. Maya Shakti is the garden of the material world, and Sarup Shakti is the garden of the spiritual world. But the Jiva souls are being produced from the middle portion, Jiva Shakti. Originally, the Jiva souls are coming from the middle potency, and by nature they are generally looking towards the light and are going there to the spiritual world. But a few of the Jiva souls are unfortunately looking towards the mundane world. They are attracted by that, and that is who we are, and that percentage is very, very small. By far, the greater percentage are going towards the spiritual world. Those who are looking towards Maya are feeling, oh, we are the soul, we are light, but there is darkness, and we are masters of that dark world. It is their misfortune. They are attracted and are coming towards Maya. The Jiva souls are produced from the middle section and are very tiny, and therefore some are attracted by Maya, although most are attracted by the light, the spiritual realm, and are going there. Although there are only a few who are coming here, still that means crores and crores, but that is few compared with the whole spiritual universe. The fallen Jiva souls are coming here from the middle portion, but there are others who are coming from the light section, but they are not fallen. Amongst them are Sadhu, Guru, Vaishnava, Bhagavan, and many avatars. They are coming here in order to take the Jiva souls towards the world of light. Whoever goes to the light world, the spiritual world, does not come back to this plane as a fallen soul, but sometimes may come down by the will of Krishna in order to rescue the fallen Jiva souls. Whoever is serving in the transcendental world does not come back here. Only by the will of Krishna someone may come here, but that is not falling down. We can also see the case of Jai and Vijay. They were Vaikuntha gatekeepers, and they came down here, but that was by the will of Krishna, and they went back also. Anyone who is living in the spiritual world or who goes there does not come back here. Yadgatva na nivartante. Whoever is living there is always living there, and they will only come back from that world in order to rescue the Jiva souls from this plane and take them to the spiritual world. Those who are living in this world are the fallen souls, but there is no possibility for those who are living in the transcendental world to come back here as fallen souls. Only they may return here by the will of Krishna. Everything there is the will of Krishna. It may be offense or anything, but it is all happening by his will. One who is living here can go there, and once going there, he will not return. Not only the perfect Jiva soul may come here by the Lord's wish, but also the transcendental plane can come here and play here. Krishna with his whole paraphernalia comes down to this mundane world, and they play here. But their play is the play of the transcendental plane. Transcendental means infinite. The transcendental plane is always infinite. Krishna can go anywhere and do anything, so he can come down to this plane. Also, he can expand any place and can contract any place. Everything is possible, and that is the meaning of transcendental. Anyone living in this mundane plane who does not have a permanent residential permit for the spiritual world may fall down, even though he may have attraction to that plane. Anyone living in this mundane plane who does not have a permanent residential permit for the spiritual world may fall down, even though he may have attraction to that plane. Up to and including the stage of Mahabhagavat, there is always the possibility of going down again in this mundane world. A Mahabhagavat can also fall down, but not from the transcendental world. When the transcendental world comes here and appears to be attracted to this world, it is not attachment, really. It may appear to be attachment, but there is no possibility for the transcendental to be mixed with the mundane. Maya Dhyakena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. Maya, the mundane plane, is always like a shadow. But the abscissa is everywhere. Otherwise, there cannot be both light and shadow. In the middle, there is always an abscissa, Tatastha Shakti, and that is where the jiva souls are coming from by the will of Krishna. Krishna is looking at the jiva Shakti. Tau Lingam Bhagavan Shambhur. He is throwing his vision of jiva Shakti, and there the jiva Shakti are immediately active. Although ultimately it is the ray of Krishna, actually it is the ray of Narayan. Really, Krishna is not interested in doing that. Rather, he is playing with his paraphernalia and is not interested about the mundane plane. What he is producing is transcendental. It has no connection with Maya. But Narayan, Vishnu, is always in the middle portion. The upper level of the spiritual world is Krishna Loka. The lower level is Brahma Loka. And the middle portion is the area of Vishnu, Narayan, and many avatars. In that section are Karanodakashayi Vishnu, Garbhodakashayi Vishnu, Kshirodakashayi Vishnu, Purusha avatars, Leela avatars, Yuga avatars, and many more. Each of their worlds is transcendental and infinite. Where Nrsingadeva is staying is also the transcendental world and is infinite. But with our puppy brains, we cannot imagine. It is called Achincha Shakti. It is beyond Prakriti, beyond our thinking. At the same time, Krishna can take his food through his mouth, through his hand, and through his feet. It is so. In the mundane world, we cannot think that it is possible. But it is true in the transcendental world. The transcendental world is infinite. Where Krishna is staying, that is the transcendental world and infinite. Similarly, it is so with Ramchandra and other incarnations of Krishna. Everywhere it is transcendental, but we are unable to think of such things. That is called Achincha. All the worlds are infinite, but we cannot accommodate that within our puppy brains. It is not possible. But a devotee can clearly understand all these things because he has strong faith. When Krishna says this is a rope, then certainly this is a rope. But if Krishna says this is a snake, then, oh yes, it is a snake. At present, we do not have the transcendental type of knowledge. But when illusion will leave us, then we shall be able to see everything in the proper way by Krishna's grace. With our thought, we may be able to go to the other side. With our thought, we may be able to go to the opposite side of the world and think what is happening there. But the transcendental plane is above and beyond the mind. Sometimes if we see the transcendental plane, we may find that we are too close to see clearly, but can focus better from far away. If I hold the newspaper too close, then my eyes cannot focus on the print. But from a proper distance, I can read it clearly. Proper adjustment is necessary with everything. We may want to see what pastimes are going on in Vrindavan at this moment, but we cannot. The morning, the evening, and all things there are going on transcendentally. First we must go there, get entrance there, and then we shall be able to see everything. By chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra without offense, we shall be able to see everything as clear as daylight. Otherwise, we cannot understand the infinite nature of the transcendental world. If you can think you can make a garland out of all the peaks of the Himalayas and the peaks of all the mountains of the world and offer that to Krishna, and if you think you can make a rope out of spiders' webs and bind an elephant, then you may be able to understand something of that plane. If you think you can make a garland out of all the peaks of the Himalayas and the peaks of all the mountains of the world and offer that to Krishna, and if you think you can make a rope out of spiders' webs and bind an elephant, then you may be able to understand something of that plane. So it is not necessary to think too much, but instead our main attention is to try to chant Hare Krishna properly. This is our main channel to go there, and this is our one hope. This is a very short chapter. I'll continue. Chapter 4, our lifeline of devotional practice. Naham tishtami vaikunte yoginam hridayena cha madbhakta yacha gayanti tatra tishtami narada. The Lord said, I am not living in Vaikuntha, and I am not living in the heart of the yogis, but I remain where my devotees are singing my glories. So Krishna can be found wherever his glories are being chanted by his devotees. So the main thing in our life is that we need association of the devotees. Therefore, wherever there is a regular devotional program continuing by his devotees with chanting, we should try to attend. It is within Vidhi Marg, and if we follow Vidhi, a regulated devotional program, it will give some adjustment in our life. Srila Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur preached, Matala Harijana Kirtana Range Pujala Ragapata Gaurava Bange. This is inscribed above the front entrance of the Nat Mandir here at Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, and later a picture relief has come out above it, illustrating its meaning. Gaurava Bange means that there are some rules and regulations. From afar, we shall worship the Ragapat, the path of spontaneous affectionate service, while we ourselves live within the Vedic guideline. If we think that we have become a gopi, that is not the real feeling. But if we think that we want to become a servant of the gopis, that is the real thing. The process is Shravanam and Kirtanam. Shravanam and Kirtanam. When we have established ourselves in the plane of full dedication, from there we shall start our real bhajan life under guidance of a sadhu. Question. So what is the actual meaning of Gaurava Bange? Srila Govinda Maharaj. Gaurava means Vidhi. Narayan is the Gaurava deity. But Gaurava Bange means the honorable guideline of the scriptures. And from that position, we are always to give honor from afar to that Raga Marg. Raga Marg is a very high plane. Why? Because in that plane there is only affectionate attachment with Krishna. That is the plane of affectionate service. Question. In this verse, what is the reference to Gaurava Bange? In what way is that verse referring to Vidhi? Srila Govinda Maharaj. Matala Harijana Kirtana Range and Pujala Ragapat Gaurava Bange. This is our life's goal. Kirtan is the first stage and also the last stage. Kirtan can take us from the lowest level to the highest level, Raga Marg. We start our practicing life through Kirtan. Mahaprabhu said, Yagyai Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti hi Sumedasa. Yajanti means bhajanti, worshipping Mahaprabhu by the process of chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and following his Sankirtan movement. Question: I have always understood that the verse Matala Harijana Kirtana Range means that our highest ideal is Raga Marg, and keeping it above us, we worship it from afar. Srila Govinda Maharaj: the correct idea is that we must always think it to be above us. Otherwise, we shall go down to the Sahajiya line. If we say that someone is a gopi, it is perfect Sahajiyism, perfect imitation. That is real Sahajiyism. But if we say that someone looks like a gopi, that is not Sahajiyism. We have some idea of what a gopi looks like. So if we think that a particular lady looks like a gopi, that will not be Sahajiyism. But we have no right to say it actually. Otherwise, immediately we shall be on the mundane platform. No doubt someone is qualified to say so, but we shall not think that we ourselves have the right to even take the name of the gopis. We shall not think that we ourselves have the right to even take the name of the gopis. Throughout the whole of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Shukadeva Goswami did not once mention the name of Srimati Radharani. This is because he tried to guard his discourse from Sahajiyism. During that meeting with Maharaj Parikshit, many were present who would not have been able to understand properly if Shukadeva Goswami had mentioned the name of Radharani and her associates. If someone does not have the proper capacity to understand these topics, they will immediately go to Sahajiyism. For their protection, Shukadeva Goswami did not take the name of Srimati Radharani and the gopis such as Lalita Devi, Vishakha, etc. Their identity was shown by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his writings. He gave some light by mentioning this verse was spoken by Srimati Radharani, this one by Lalita Devi, etc. So we must worship the Ragapat from afar, and our duty at present is to serve that rank of the devotees and to engage in the congregational chanting of the Maha Mantra and the association of the devotees. This is the safe and actual process for us to make advancement in our Krishna conscious practicing life. These are short. These are from articles. This book is collected from articles, so some are shorter than others. Yeah, this is, very important. Now, this is why, textbook Krishna consciousness doesn't work. This is why you need the association of a real Vaishnava, because you can read all the information, you can read all the facts, Sambandha, Videya, Prayojan, and who are the associates of Krishna, who are the associates of Mahaprabhu, etc., etc. You can have this theoretical understanding, but be lacking the mood, be lacking the proper angle of approach, lacking this type of sensitivity and feeling. So Gurudev has that feeling, we don't have the right to take the name of the gopis, these are not cheap things, For someone who really understands what this is about, there will be, this gravity, this shyness, this hesitation, and we saw with Srila Gurudev, even with some things which you wouldn't necessarily classify as high, he would have some hesitation even to go into that. Like a particular sentiment, a sentiment of humility that has come from a Vaishnava, Gurudev would have some shyness in repeating that. Like I don't want to say that I have that type of humility. It's, so many like subtle points, but these subtle points are actually like, defining, our the real approach, real development. Like Gurudev also, he made the point that, in the songs that we sing, we have to remember that like these aren't our songs, like some of the expressions, the sentiments there are very deep, and we don't want to get carried away thinking, oh yeah, that's what I think, like some of these expressions are very extreme. Like how can I, jadi gorna hoite tobeke hoite kemene doritam de, like how could I live if Mahaprabhu had not come? Like do we really feel like that? Oh, how could I live if Mahaprabhu didn't come? And it's easy to get emotional, to get carried away with some of these things, But we have to remember, this is the feeling of Vasudev Ghosh. This is the feeling of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Kobe hobe bolo sedina amar. When will that day be mine? These kind of expressions from Bhakti Vinod Thakur, like that's his property. And so Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he actually, there were some songs he didn't allow to be sung. And if you read them, like that Gaura, how does it go? Gauranga bolite hobe pulaka shodira. Like that song, if you read that song, it's not like going into Radha Krishna Leela. It's just describing like these symptoms of ecstasy, upon remembering Mahaprabhu, something like that. Like when will these kind of symptoms of ecstasy come to me? Something like that. So it's not even going into these like high topics of Radha Krishna Leela, but it's expressing a very deep sentiment. And so Srila Sridhar Maharaj didn't allow that song to be sung, because it would be easy to go into a mood of imitation. Gurudev also, Srila Gurudev mentioned how sometimes devotees, they'll change the end of a song and add adama, adama, like the song will end narotama, kohe narotama das or kohe lochan das, like the song will conclude with the writer like saying their name, right? Like it's their song, their expression. So they'll conclude with their name. And then sometimes what devotees will do, they'll change that to Adama, like this soul, like making it like apply, like this, like this is Bhakti Vinod song, but this is also my feeling, And Gurudev commented that wasn't correct, that to do that, that we should sing with the consciousness that this is the expression of Bhakti Vinod Thakur, This is Bhakti Vinod Thakur's glorification of Nityananda Prabhu, or expression of humility, and etc., etc. It's always like removed several times. Like Srila Gurudev also mentioned, when he goes to the Dham, then he said when he goes to Vrindavan, then he's not thinking, oh, this Leela happened, that Leela happened here with Radha, Krishna and the gopis, so many. He's thinking, oh, this is where my Guru Maharaj came and he appreciated this place. This is where Bhakti Vinod Thakur came, or Gorkishore came, like through the lens of Guru, he's appreciating Vrindavan. This is what my Guru Maharaj appreciated in this place, like everything's through that lens of the vision, the heart and conception of Guru. Never going like directly to that, but percolated through the heart vision of our Guru Varga. That is the real authentic approach. So, yeah, I mean, fortunately in our mission, we're a little more protected, but I think mostly I hear sometimes like others, some of these things sometimes I hear it in our mission too, but maybe we're not as bad as I see in other places. But like people will talk about, like what is this gopi like or that gopi like, or it's we have to be careful, and then people want to know stories about this gopi and stories about Radharani, and like at the proper time we'll hear something that is coming to us through Mahaprabhu, through our gurus, but we don't want to turn it into this like exercise, like playful exercise of learning all these like interesting, cool things. That brings us to the material platform. That brings us to the mental platform. So yeah, it's a fine line, and it can be very easy to go down that route. But Gurudev here is like really setting it straight. Like we don't even have a right to say the names of the gopis. We should feel some shyness about that. And Gurudev always points out, as he does here, that Shukadev Goswami didn't take the name of Srimati Radharani. So, we should, just to take her divine name, we should feel some shyness in that. Because otherwise we can get something, but we'll be cheated actually. We can get, like Jagadananda Pandit has that expression, how does it go about the holy name? Kabu, I can't remember right now, but saying that the syllables of the name are not the name. The name does not exist in the syllables of the name. The real name is something that descends, something beyond what we can vibrate with our tongue or pronounce, It is something beyond that. So we can know everything very perfectly on an intellectual level, but at the same time not really be connecting with that divine substance. That divine substance will only descend in response to genuine service necessity. That is what will attract. There has to be, some genuine necessity in the heart of that practitioner. Atashi Krishna namadi nabhavid grajamindriyai sevan mukhe jivada swayameva spurchada. That the name, the form, the qualities of the Lord, they all exist beyond the reach of our senses. And the only way that we may attract that super subjective plane to descend is by developing the mood of service. That will attract. There has to be a relationship. There has to be a connection there. I was mentioning a few weeks ago this movie that I watched on an airplane a few months ago, and it was this man who was like he was like a kind of a rock star musician, and he had this fan, like mad fan, who knew everything about him. He had a website about him, and like he was like obsessed with this music, this rock star. And then they met at one point. They met, and then this fan was like kind of like coming like with this textbook approach, like he knew everything about his life, but it was disturbing for that musician. Like you have your private life, and then someone's coming like there's no relationship there. Like somebody can know all the facts about your life, but if they come to meet you, it doesn't mean that you have a relationship. Rather it can be like quite disturbing actually. Someone's like telling you that they know all the details about your life. Like, this is a little strange, a little creepy. So in the same way, we can know, in quotes, everything about the Lord and his associates and so on and so forth. But there's no relationship. It's not meaningful. It's not a real connection. It's a mental understanding, but there's no relationship. So to develop a relationship, that's something else. That's a science. That's the science of devotion, and that's what our gurus are giving us. So what is the proper approach? We have to make our hearts attractive, so the Lord may be pleased to descend, to reveal, to bestow his grace upon us. So that is what we want. We want the authentic thing. And we're fortunate because we have the authentic Guru. So, as Saraswati Ji was saying, there's not thousands of people lining up because it's not easy.
Big queue out of the door.
Have to give numbers to everybody. Wait, your turn. It's not like that, because we're not giving a cheap solution. We're not giving an easy fix. We're giving the real thing. And we have to do the work.
1,000 plates of prasadam every Saturday. Srila Prabhupada in the 70s.
That's a very nice what you said about developing the relationship with our Guru, first of all, through the service connection. Continuous service connection. Right?
Yes.
Undisturbed, uninterrupted.
Uninterrupted. Uninterrupted.
Consistent.
We're aspiring for that.
Aspiring, definitely.
Yeah.
So you can see if you are in some place. We are nowhere.
What did you say?
So we can try to see where we're standing. Do we go to some place? Or we are lost. Spiritual bankruptcy.
We are very small capitalists, but we have connection with major capitalists. Then we have some hope. Then we won't be bankrupt. Their business is flourishing. They're very successful with their business. Their capital is getting bigger and bigger. So we're connecting our small capital to their greater capital. Then we have some hope. Then we get to share a little bit.
You got the right bank account.
With the right bank, yeah. Yeah, Srila Srinivas gave that wonderful analogy how like so many so-called spiritual missions, they have big signboards, like making a big show, like we have so much, we're doing so much. But if you go to analyze their real financial status, you'll see that they're bankrupt. They have a big fancy signboard, but actually there's no real foundation. It's all going to collapse. But we don't have to worry about that. Our signboard may not always be glittery. However, there's strong, financial position here. Infallible, rock solid. But here we have quite a nice sign, actually. We have a nice signboard here. We have both here. Okay. Jai Shri Gurudev.